What's going on, everyone? Mets Talk with Hayden J here. What's going on, everyone? I hope everyone is doing extremely well. I am most certainly doing well. This is the first live stream of 2022. I know I haven't gone live in about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. I was on vacation. I was, a little busy, wrapped up with stuff. And plus, with the MLB lockout, it's been officially more than a month since the MLB lockout has occurred. So, there isn't really a whole lot to talk about in terms of baseball, but you know me, I like to come on these streams regularly. I like to come on here, talk with you guys. We've been doing more Q&A type streams lately, and reading your guys' comments and questions. And I want to really thank you guys for leaving a lot of great comments, questions, and concerns, everything in the chat. I mean, you guys have been leaving phenomenal just statements overall in the chat. I really do appreciate it. It definitely hits my heart to know that I have such, great people. I see we got the chat rolling out already. Really appreciate it. So we definitely do got some good stuff to go over in today's stream. We know the New York Mets have picked up a couple coaches, first base coach, third base coach, just a hitting coach today. I've been uploading a lot of videos recently. So if you guys could check that out, that'd be very much appreciated. But in today's stream, we are going to be going over what's going on with the New York Mets, with the lockout and stuff. So we are going to be going over some of the new coaches for the New York Mets, some of the bench coaches, as well as the new hitting coach. And of course, I'm going to go over your guys' comments, questions, and all of that great stuff. But before we get into all of those great topics, everyone, please, if you could, turn on those post notifications, smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, please feel free to tell your friends about this channel. We have been doing really well on the channel, and it would much mean appreciated. I know there's not a lot going on. Due to the lockout, it sucks. Trust me, I understand. I would much rather be talking on here about, teams going after Chris Bryant and Carlos Correa. But sadly, can't do that very much now. So in today's stream, we are going to be going over that. So I guess let's stop wasting any time. I did enough of my introduction. Let's talk about what's going on with the Mets. So the New York Mets have signed a third base coach. We'll go in, I guess, chronological order. The New York Mets have signed a third base coach. New York Mets, so they signed a third base coach. That has been established. They signed a first base coach. Their third base coach, we'll go in chronological order like I just stated. They signed a third base coach in Joey Cora. And you say, Cora, that name sounds very familiar. Well, that's true. Brother of Alex Cora. Joey Cora, Puerto Rican friend. He will be the third base coach for the New York Mets. In terms of the first base coach, we will have Wayne Kirby. I think these are great moves. Wayne Kirby is coming from the Padres. I like about these moves is that you really see the dynamic duo of Billy Epler and Buck Showalter. Billy Epler knew the hitting coach and Kirby, and the third base coach has relations with Sandy Alderson. So you really see an established relationship here. And that's what baseball should be about, executives knowing each other and, knowing the coaching staff. So that aside, I really do like the first base and third base coach moves. It goes to show you that we saw last year with D. Sarcina at third base. It wasn't very good. It was no bueno, not good. We saw there were so many games where the Mets could have easily won last season. So many one-run games. During my series summaries and series recaps, I would constantly come on these streams and say, oh, the Mets lost the game 5-4. The Mets went, 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. 7 for 10 with runners in scoring position, which actually that's pretty good. But the point is, the Mets really struggled with offense when it really mattered most with runners in scoring position. Yeah, in times of coming clutch, they definitely were good. But point of the matter is, they really, Chili Davis, I was a little upset that they didn't break that he got fired. Chili Davis, I really like that line drive mentality. Yes, I get it. They weren't really hitting with him in the first month, but it was much better than Hugh Quattlebaum. I don't know what Quattlebaum's mentality was. He seemed to not have a plan. Players couldn't even get the ball off the ground. It seemed constantly double plays. We saw with McCann. We saw, the first half with Lindor. I mean, the only players that were actually hitting the ball in the air was VR and Alonso. And I give Alonso props, and Alonso could probably be much more of a deadly player if he had a coach that could teach him to hit the ball in the air more, like a line drive type player. And I know I sound a little silly and foolish for saying that, but, yeah. So, I don't know. I think it's pretty interesting. Like I said, the Mets need speed. The Mets need to start sending guys. It's the famous Moneyball saying. Why do you want him? Because he gets on base. Getting on base scores runs. If you score runs, you win ball games. That is the thing. Yeah, pitching, I think, too. But in this case, the Mets have the pitching. They have DeGrom. They have Scherzer. You have Walker. You have some guys in the bullpen that are not terrible. Point is, the Mets have guys in the rotation and the bullpen. Established enough. They're not the best, but they can focus on the offense now. I'm tired of seeing, this team not hit with runners in scoring position. It's very exasperating. I want the Mets to be speedy, steal more on the base pass. That is one thing that I think that is underrated in Major League Baseball now, and that is stealing bases on the base pass. We see a lot of Moneyball teams like the A's and the Rays who don't have a lot of money, so they invest in a lot of guys who may not look really well, but deep down analytically, they could steal bases. They can get on base for a high average, and that's what the Mets need to start doing. They signed Starling Marte. 54 stolen bases this past season. The Mets only had 48 the whole season combined. So the point that I'm trying to, the point that I'm trying to make overall is that I want this team to start showing speed on the base pass. Start stealing bases. Start sending Lindor more. You have Marte. Is Marte going to steal 50 stolen bases? I don't know about 50 stolen bases, but I definitely think he can have a high shot at 25, 30, maybe even 35. So, that's really that. I mean, start stealing bases, start scoring runs, start being more aggressive on the base pass. And I'm really hoping that the new bench coaches, the new base coaches can really help this team out, because that is what killed the team. Bad base running. I mean, we saw with VR a couple times, he got picked off a lot. If I had $1 every time VR got picked off, I'd be rich. He got picked off left and right. So hopefully the base pass, the speed, sending guys, hitting with runners in scoring position. In terms of being clutch, this team does pretty well in extra innings. I think they finished above 500 in extra innings played last season. So I guess that's a pro. Wasn't much pros to them. Well, there were a fair amount. But yeah. So point is, start stealing bases, start being aggressive. That's really what wins ball games. And there's really not much to say. Like, I want to tell you all my thoughts, but I don't want to just completely say the whole video on here. So I know it kind of sounds like I'm not giving out the best intel today, and I'm not trying not to. It's just I don't want to spoil the whole video for you guys who want to see it, or yeah, I guess whatever. Yeah. So that's really that. So getting into that, I guess we'll get into some of your guys' comments. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, please feel free. Do not hesitate. Drop them in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts. If there's a player you think should be traded, should the Mets sign a guy? Could this guy go to the Texas Rangers? Could this guy go to the Oakland Athletics? I don't know. Point is, you guys tell me in the comment section who you, any comments, questions, or concerns. It doesn't have to be Mets related, although yes, most of my knowledge does pertain to the Mets. I'm just a baseball fan. I'm sorry, my mouse is being a little off, but what's going on, everyone? John, what's going on? Trey, what's going on? Cal, iBeam Dose, Jed, Kobe, what's going on, guys? Appreciate you guys tuning in. Trey is going to say, it feels great to feel excited during the offseason / lockout about the Mets. This is what happens when a true fan of a team owns the same team, does not make a... Yeah, absolutely, man. I agree with you. I think, a lot of the Wilpon off seasons weren't really that exciting. I looked at a story like 3 years ago. It was like 3 years ago on this date. The Mets signed Dellin Betances, and I think at the time, I think it was a fair move. Besides the injuries, not many people assumed he would get hurt as much. But regardless, I mean, those weren't big signings. The Mets weren't going after Garrett Cole. They weren't going after Bryce Harper. They weren't going after Anthony Rendon. They were going after these cheap, old veteran guys, and it really didn't work. And I think now the Mets, they have a new owner. They have a guy who's willing to spend. He has ambitions. He shows urgency, and he wants to spend. He wants to show his wallet. I get it. Money doesn't buy you championships. Absolutely, that's true. Look at the Padres. I mean, they have a bin field of $1 billion, and it couldn't even get them above 500. So when people go around saying, "Oh well, money wins championships," to an extent, I mean, I don't think buying championships works, but then I also think at the same time, to some extent, you do need money to get guys, because if you want to keep some guys for, a long time, well, you're going to have to pay them when it comes to extensions. And I think extensions, And the Mets are going to need to be talked about very soon. You know, some guys I think are going to need to be extended soon, whether that's a Brandon Nimmo. He is pre-arbitrational eligible, I think, 2023. You want to get that taken care of. Pete Alonso, Jacob deGrom. So, you know, the Mets, you know, hopefully they could start extending some guys soon. It's really what I'm hoping for. Yes, John, I know I'm finally wearing a Mets hat. I know in my last stream I wore a Phillies hat and everyone went off on me in the comment section. Don't worry. I got a Mets hat on, guys. Don't worry. Although I am a hat collector, so if anyone, you know, doesn't like it, I apologize. I am just I'm a big hat collector. I collect all the hats, all baseball hats, so you'll always see me coming on stream wearing a Mets, a Phillies, a Athletics, a Brewers hat, whatever, honestly. Kobe says, should the Mets sign Carlos Rodon? I think he would make a good number 3 starter. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would have no issue with the Mets going after Rodon. I think he definitely was a good pitcher this season. He had that no-hitter, which I guess really established himself as a good pitcher this year in the Cy Young race. In terms of Rodon to a deal, I wouldn't be against it. I think he could be a great number 3 pitcher in the Mets rotation, arguably number 4, seeing how things turn out. My only thing is his injuries. He's for the past 5 years, he's never really been healthy. He's never really had one full healthy season where he's played a full season in MLB. He's constantly been an injury-prone guy. And just recently, it says that he would like to sign a long-term deal. Well, not a long-term deal, but a deal consisting of, 4 or 5 years. That's where I get a little worrisome with the Mets giving out a 4 to 5 year deal for a guy who hasn't played a full season, who has only played one full season at a good level. Don't get me wrong, I definitely think he will, and he definitely can, but, I just get a little worried. So, hopefully, fingers crossed, he could be healthy. I like his stuff. He's a nice lefty. The Mets really lack left-handed pitching. You lost Aaron Loop. That was definitely a blow. You lost Rich Hill. That was definitely a blow. So the Mets, they're going to need some left-handed pitchers in that rotation and the bullpen, of course. So you're going to need a lefty. So I think Rodon is probably the best available guy out there with the exclusion of Kershaw. I think Rodon is the most likable guy. Cal, what's going on? Cal says, yeah, hopefully you did hear my takes, Cal. Those are honestly all of my opinions on all of the base coaches, all the guys that I guess all the coaching staff. Those are really my takes on all the guys, the coaching staff. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Phillies Hot Stove Media, what's going on, brother? Great Phillies fan. If you guys are Phillies fans or baseball fans, definitely check him out. Great guy. Great Phillies fan on the channel. Marco, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you tuning in, bud. Marco says, I miss baseball news. I hope this lockout by MLB and the Players Association can come to an end quickly. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I'm really hoping so, too. I mean, this is it's boring. I was hoping, to come on these streams and, talk about, Chris Bryant and Correa getting ready to sign. But right now, it's will there be baseball? When will baseball start? When will, Rob Manfred did not have a pretty week this week. So we'll see how that goes. Kobe says, should the Mets go under Andrew Chafin? Yeah, I mean, let's take a look-see at some of Chafin's numbers. I'm not crazy about him. I know a lot of people were excited about Big Country at the trade deadline. I've never really expressed a huge interest in him. He's 31. He's really only had one good season, and it was this past year. With relief pitchers, they're very inconsistent, so that's what you got to worry about. If you look at his basic stats, 2-4 win-loss record, 1.83 ERA, 68 innings pitched, 5 saves, 64 strikeouts, 0.93 WHIP. Good, solid basic stats, no complaints. Not really a closer. He'd be more of that setup 7th, 8th inning type of guy who can go an inning or two. He doesn't have the best fastball, but I'll tell you this: he does have a solid pick switch. He does primarily use secondary pitches like sinkers, like sliders. That's what he mainly uses. So I think that's pretty interesting with Chafin. He has a nice chase rate. 89th percentile according to Baseball Savant for chase rate. So that's pretty good. In terms of the fastball velocity, it's very low. Yeah, I get it. Velocity doesn't determine everything with pitchers, but it would be nice, especially coming out of the bullpen, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. What else does this guy have? I mean, yeah, he increased the uses of the usage of his sinker. He has some pretty good stuff. I mean, I'm looking at Baseball Savant right now, and seems to have adequate stuff. I mean, a one-year deal wouldn't be the worst thing if the Mets do go after Chafin. He is a lefty, so that kind of is kind of giving me more leverage and interest in signing him. I mean, if he was a righty, maybe I wouldn't be as interested. Just to be, I guess, clear. I don't know. Cal, what's going on? Cal says, what's the deal with the Mets black jerseys? Are they allowed to wear them whenever next season, or is it limited to amount of games? All right, so I am going to try to explain this to the best of my ability. I'm probably going to do it really crappy and confuse everyone, but I'm sorry. So we know that the Mets brought back the black jerseys. They brought them back for only 5 games last season, and they did them for the last 5 home games on Fridays. So this is a really weird rule, and I guess it's an MLB rule, and pretty much in order for a team to use a jersey for a certain amount of time, it has to get approved by MLB. I did not know that. I can thank Keith Hernandez for telling everyone that. It has to be approved by MLB. And that process takes 2 years. Well, Steve Cohen just became owner of December of 2020 or January of 2021. So the time and the time there to get that, it takes a while. And the Mets are still in the first year of trying to get those jerseys. So pretty much it says that you can wear them for the last 5 games. For 5 games. So the Mets chose to use them for the last 5 home games on Fridays. And I think that's pretty fair. I agree with that. I don't have any issues with that. I think that's fair. So the Mets are probably going to use them for the last 5 Friday home games in 2022. Unless they can try and do something else. Maybe if they could, maybe if they can't. I have no idea. But yeah, I mean, honestly, we are going to have to see... I guess we'll honestly just have to see how that really goes. Yeah, so they brought him back, but just for the 5 games, so still, I guess, questionable on how long they'll have them for. But hopefully they can have them full-time. That'd be kind of cool. I like them. Devin, what's going on, Devin, man? He says, in your opinion, what's the worst thing Rob Manfred has done? Yeah, I mean, not going to lie, like, not saying I feel bad for Rob Manfred. Like, listen, I understand a lot of people hate him. I feel regardless of whoever the commissioner was, he would be hated. I mean, who was the old commissioner? Damn it, what's his name? The guy with the glasses. Crap. Bud Selig. Yeah, even when Bud Selig was commissioner, everyone trash talked the dude. I believe he was commissioner in '94 when there was the lockout then. So everyone hates the commissioner. Is Manfred not the best at his job? I'll agree with you on that. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a great person. I think he's a dad. I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm not kind of come on here and say he's a terrible human being. I don't think that's the case. I just don't think he's the best at his job. One of my friends sent me this, and it, talks about a lot of the stuff. The failure to punish the players involved in the Astros cheating scandal, the uncertain guarantee of the 2020 season. And then he promised there would be a season, and then he said he's not confident. He called the World Series trophy a medal, publicly called out Mike Trout for not marketing himself when he was before that huge extension with the Angels. He eliminated 43 minor league teams from MLB affiliation. He implemented the sticky stuff enforcement midseason, which was just a complete crap show. And the Ken Rosenthal firing just recently. Yes, that wasn't him. I get it. It's not like Rob Manfred said you're fired. But, I mean, it's a little cheap in my opinion. And then, of course, the changing of the baseballs. How the Mets constantly, or not the Mets, but Major League Baseball with Rawlings, we know what they did. They were changing the baseballs, how much it weighed, how dense it was. The size of them, they were changing them. So that's not good. It really messes these guys up from an offensive approach and even defense. I mean, imagine yourself trying to constantly throw a ball that looks different. Sucks. Trey says Smith needs to be traded. He will not grow in New York. He deserves to start on a weaker team. Most players in Dom's shoes in the past have done a better job on other teams. Example, Justin Turner and Daniel Murphy. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I agree with you. I mean, Daniel Murphy, I wouldn't say so much him because his last year with the Mets, they went to the World Series. And arguably, if he stayed with them in 2016, he was a case for MVP. I want to say he finished second in MVP or maybe even third. I can only imagine how much farther the Mets could have gotten in 2016. I mean, they made the wild card in 2016, but maybe they could have gone much farther if they had an elite guy like Daniel Murphy. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Dom Smith just has no. I mean, he's a first baseman. You know, the Mets have so many guys out of position. He is a third. He is a first baseman. He's not an outfielder. I don't think he's even an everyday player. We saw he got the try in 2021 to go out there every day and play, and he just looked terrible. He looked so lost with the swinging, so lost at the plate. He did good in 2021, yeah, because it was 60 games, not even half a season. 43% of a season. Of course he'll do well. So that's my thing. I think you can get something for Dom, especially, it depends what team would want him. You could probably get, a couple of prospects and maybe one MLB-ready guy for him, I feel. I'm a big proponent of trading away Dom Smith. Not saying I don't like him, but I just feel there's no value for him on this team, and I don't think he is the hitter that everyone hoped to be. Hating to New York Yankees. We'll see, man. Yeah, it's a possibility, man. Sports fan, what's going on, man? Good to see you here. He says Kimbrel, Chafin, or Trevor Rogers on the Twins would be a good get. Yeah, I agree with you. Out of all those guys, talking a White Sox, I guess he was an A and then a Twin. So as of right now, we saw Craig Kimbrel, and I guess he would have to be the closer for the most part because you saw he wasn't the closer when he went to the White Sox at the trade deadline. They still had Liam Hendricks. The only reason they got him was so that the playoffs they could have a nice 7, 8, 9 bump in the bullpen. Fortunately, it didn't work out super much because they were facing the Astros, who have an elite offense. But he didn't do well. You looked at his stats as a closer, and it was much good. I think he had like a sub-2 ERA. A 1-point-something FIP. I mean, he had elite stats in the bullpen, in the 9th inning. And then he gets placed in the 8th inning, or maybe, 4 outs, goes into the 7th inning, and he was terrible. He started giving up runs. His command got iffy. And I say, maybe is that the case with Diaz? Is he not good in safe situations, Kimbrel? It seems so. I mean, based off of, his time with the Cubs versus White Sox, unless the White Sox have a different mentality, then maybe. But I see we got 18 people in the chat. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, it could be about the Mets, the Blue Jays, the Mariners, the Rockies, drop them below. Do not hesitate, guys. You guys are dropping awesome comments. Keep it up. What's going on, Elliot? Kobe says exactly. The Mets lost way too many one-run games. Mets need to rely more on speed on the base pass. It'll help score more runs on the board. 100%. You summed it up exactly good, man. Marco says, do you think any games will be missed? I hope not. I really hope games don't get missed. I've been talking about it with all my friends recently. I feel like a broken record. Right now, Major League Baseball doesn't really have much to lose right now in the offseason. Maybe they're losing some revenue. Whether that consists of ad revenue from teams or I honestly have no idea. But the point is, I don't know. I really just question on. How much longer does MLB want to do this? How much longer can they do this? The relationship with the Players Association and the executives, it's not good. It is really bad. I was coming on these streams telling you, how terrible it was. We'll just have to see overall. But I don't think any games will be missed, to answer your question, Marco. Trey says, what would it take to get Brandon Lowe for second base? Call me crazy. I don't know if you asked this last stream, Trey, but I'm not really that interested in Brandon Lowe. Lowe, however you pronounce it. I know he is like Nathaniel. I don't think they're related, though. I'm not really interested. Call me crazy, but the Mets have so much infield. Stop going for infield. Go for outfield and pitching. That's what I want the Mets to do. Yeah, I mean, if they were to make a trade, I mean, you're talking like a Jalen Palmer. You're talking maybe a Vientos and another mid prospect. And then, I mean, it depends what they're going to give back. I mean, would it be like a Glasnow trade? Still questionable. Are the Rays going to be willing to work with Glasnow? He's getting Tommy John. That's going to be like him and Syndergaard are going to have to work together at their own ends. It's going to be interesting. John, what's going on? John says, Hayden, what's your offer to Juan Soto when he becomes a free agent? Eesh. So when is he a free agent? That is my question. So, like, it's kind of tough because, I mean, this dude is 23 years old and he's already putting up elite numbers. So let's see when Juan Soto is a free agent. And we got 18 people in the chat. What's going on, everyone? He's not a free agent until 2025. So I have no idea what the Mets will look like then. I mean, they'll have Nimmo still. I don't know who else will be in their outfield besides Nimmo. I mean, they'll obviously still have Alonso at first. They'll have Lindor at short. Beatty will probably be up at third. Maybe Alex Ramirez would be up. I don't know. Alonso's at first. Yeah. Hopefully Alvarez is catching then. In terms of what you want to give Juan Soto, so 2025, he'll be 24. 25, 26, 27, 28. Yeah, I mean, he'll be 26, 27, 28 years old. So that's going into prime age. I mean, he'll definitely still be himself, but he could even be even much better. So in terms of what I give him, I mean, in terms of years, I mean, I'd give him as much as I could. I'm talking double digits. I'm talking 10, 11 years. In terms of a price, I really have no idea because he's expanding his value. I don't know. I mean, are the Nationals going to keep him? I think he's a great building block for a rebuilding team. Build around Soto. The Nationals have 400, 350 million, and I think he's going to get more than Lindor, 100%. He's definitely going to get more to Lindor. It's interesting. LFGM, absolutely. LFGM, absolutely. Tracer Showalter has to get McNeil back to being a contact hitter, make him stop swinging for the fences, and make him stop swinging at the first pitch he gets all the time. Yeah, I mean, this is the big thing with McNeil. Let's talk about him as let's talk about McNeil as a person. Actually, no, screw the person. Let's talk about him as a player. The personality stuff, that's besides the point. I'm talking about him as a player. I think the social aspect and the mental aspect definitely has a high thing. But I just want to talk about McNeil as, I guess, really what went wrong with him in terms of his playing, in terms of analytically what went wrong with him. So McNeil, he struggled a lot this season. He did show maybe one or two, series where he would hit the ball, bat-to-ball contact. He would hit for some contact. In the past, he'd be a BABIP type of guy. And then just this season, he just looked lost. He was kind of deciding, does he want to hit for power and a high on base percentage guy, or does he simply just want to hit for the long ball? And that's what happened in 2019. He started off the season. He had a good first half, amazing first half. And then maybe around September, the last month of the season, he started to hit for some power. And his home runs went up, his RBIs went up, but the on-base percentage, the WRC+, all that went down. It was still good. I mean, he finished with like a 3-something average, a 317, 318 average. I think his WRC+ was like 150 something. That's really good. 50% above the league average. That's amazing. But point is with McNeil, he's gonna have to try and really get back to his old hitting self. First, I think the hamstring definitely had a big thing on what went wrong with him. I think injuring his hamstring definitely affected his batting stance. I think it really hurt him. And I think now, honestly, I don't even think he should have even played last season. I think with the injuries, it was really tough. He seemed like his hamstring was hurting. So yeah, I mean, obviously, I think he needs to establish one batting stance. That is the big thing. He constantly changes his batting stance, and I mean, it affects your swing. It affects your stride. I mean, how can someone try to swing a bat and I guess hit the ball with similar exit velocity, similar point at BA and stuff, if you keep changing your stance. So I mean, in terms of that, defensively, he's fine. you want to make the argument he's not good at third, go ahead. It's not arguable. But personally, I'm hoping he will be much better this season. And, I find it interesting. Everyone went from loving McNeil. Everyone loved this dude. It went from, he's the second best second baseman in New York. Or, no, he's the second best second baseman in the MLB, just behind DJ LeMahieu. He's an all-star type caliber player. And then he has one down year, and then it's, he's done. He's done. He's not good. Why? He was good in 2019. He was good in 2020 when that was a terrible year for everyone. Just because he didn't hit this year, he had a bad year. I get it. Maybe you can make an argument why. But, people are running around saying, he's done. He's a one-year wonder. I mean, these are the same people that run around saying, McNeil's elite. He's going to be awesome. So, I hate to give up on him so quickly. But we got 20 people in the chat. What's going on, everyone? I appreciate you guys tuning in. Definitely got a good crowd today. Sports fan says Trevor Story could be a perfect fit for the Mets. Do you agree? Yeah, I think he could. Realistically, I think the Yankees are more pick for Story. Story's nice defensively. No complaints, no worries over him. I love it. In terms of Story's bat, I think it's good. I'm not going to get into the Coors effect stuff. I think he can definitely be a good bat for the Yankees order. Top of the order. He's a contact hitter, table setter type of guy. Yankees do have a big lineup of strikeout guys, and Story kind of would add to that. He'll have a lot of strikeouts, but, we won't see his average drop to like Gallo or Mendoza line. But regardless, he takes some walks. He could hit for some power. He won't be at Coors. I mean, maybe he could try to have fun with that short porch at Yankee Stadium on the right field. I think he could be a good addition for the Yankees. I really do. I mean, their whole infield defensively is a mess. I mean, Rizzo's pretty solid, but he's not his old self. I mean, Torres, Urshela, they're not good at defensively. LeMahieu's pretty solid defensively. I'll give him that. But he's a utility guy, so we'll see. And then Sports Fan is also going to ask, why is Kershaw not brought up more? He is a lefty with veteran experience who has great upside. It's a great fit. Yeah, for the Mets, I could see why you may want Kershaw. I get it. He's a lefty. He's a veteran. Personally, I think he's going to stay with the Dodgers. I feel like someone asked. I think you asked this last time too, but I'll repeat it. But yeah, personally, I think he'll stay with the Dodgers. The Dodgers they lost Scherzer, so they're going to want to keep Kershaw. Yeah, he is a lefty. I want that, but I just don't picture him with the Mets. Maybe with the Rangers or somewhere out west. Trey says, absolutely loving Koner as our owner. Spend whatever it takes to win a version of the Steinbrenner. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. LFGM, absolutely. What's going on, AB? Mets. Hopefully not. No. Cal says, when do you think the lockout will be finished? I don't know, Cal. It's very stressful. Personally, I am hoping the lockout can hopefully be resolved latest first week of February. First week of February. Kobe says 2 years ago for Christmas, the New York Mets got Potensis. Now they got a Hall of Fame manager. Yeah, that is true. That is true. I mean, I said it before, and I think it's probably in relation to that, is that so much changed with the Mets in 2 years. I mean, it really goes to show you how much people really seem to change. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just sending a message. My apologies. Trey says, what's the level of concern for DeGrom's health in 2020? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not worried, 10 being super worried, I give it a 3, 4. I mean, hopefully, there is uncertainty with the season starting, but he'll definitely still be pitching. He'll have to work with Hefner and Showalter on how to chime down the velocity and how to, not throw out his arm, really. MLB Chatterbox, what's going on, man? Yes, please subscribe to both of our channels. Great guy. Tigers fan, but he likes to cover all things. Definitely recommend checking MLB Chatterbox out, guys. EDM Playlist, what's going on, brother? First time seeing you here. Appreciate you tuning in. He says, what do you think of J.D. Davis trying a small portion of pitching? His defense is horrible, and his hitting is not the best. He did pitch in college. I'm aware of that. When did he graduate college, though? Let's see. When did J.D. Davis graduate college? Where did he play in college, actually? He played California State. Nice. So he graduated 2014. So he's been out of college for almost a decade now. Yeah, I don't know. Personally, I know they were talking about that with Alex Verdugo because he used to pitch in college. I don't know. It's kind of rough. I mean, he really has to learn how to pitch. He does not have the arm to pitch. I don't know how he does not have a strong arm in the outfield. So I really question will he have the arm to pitch? The velocity I care less about that. But he's 28 years old. I mean, does he have time to pitch? If he was 21, 20, I'd say sure, he could try. He could learn. It doesn't hurt. But he's 28. I mean, I think his time's up. I mean, to learn how to pitch. Yeah, he can hit a fastball. I get it. He can hit a high end fastball. I get it. If so, he would be a DH. Defensively, he is not good. I'll agree with you on that. He was terrible at third. He was terrible in left field. He's terrible, throwing the ball to third. That crow hop crap that he always did. Not very good defensively. In terms of the offense, like I said, can't hit a high end fastball, but I'm hoping, fingers crossed, he could try and be a DH, maybe a trade package. I don't know. Sports Fan says, who should be the fifth starter for the Mets rotation? Well, right now, I mean, Tyler McGill could definitely make a case. I don't want to put so much trust in McGill and so much, not so much trust, but I don't want to put so much liability on the dude going into his first full season, especially lacking a lot of minor league experience and innings pitched. I'd really hate to put so much pressure on him, especially, a guy who's making his first full season as a fifth starter or even fourth starter. He showed great stuff, but I just don't want to, say, oh, he's definite 100%, 100%. I think he will be a good pitcher, just I don't want to establish it 100% yet. You got DeGrom, got Scherzer, I like that. You got Walker. A little worried with Walker, in terms of his player performances, no worries. But in terms of Walker with the fatigueness and, losing it in the second half, I get a little worried. The barrels have been a little something with him. He gets barrel a lot. Carrasco is definitely a worry that he cannot pitch in the first inning. It seems he just gets demolished, and then he's Tom Seaver in the second through fifth. Got to figure out something with Carrasco. Hefner is going to have a busy offseason with these guys. And then, I guess you can make an argument. Hopefully, Joey Lucchesi should be coming back. Maybe June. He can make a case for a sixth starter. Bulk type of innings guy. You got David Peterson. We'll see how he is. Nice lefties there. And then you got McGill, so we'll see. Trey says, I can't wait for the young kids to come up in a few years. Alvarez and Beatty. Yes, sir. I am excited to see those guys in action. It's going to be great. Hopefully, Beatty could be next year. And same for Alvarez in 2023, obviously. Nate Talk Sports, what's going on, man? Marco says, should the Mets sign Chris Bryant? I hope so. Alvaro, what's going on, brother? He says, what's your prediction What's your prediction for next season for the Mets? Well, as of right now, I think it really seems to be Braves, Mets are really the two teams that have it up there. Mets have done the most shopping in the NL East and arguably all of Major League Baseball, but they still have some flaws and some things to improve on. Nationals are rebuilding, so they're at it. Marlins, their rebuild's ending, and I think they're honestly good. Phillies are so close. I feel like the Phillies are like a 500 team, but with another outfielder and maybe some bullpen, they could get somewhere. I like Zach Wheeler. Nola, I'm going to sound like a casual, but Nola has a bad ERA. The FIP was no good. He had a 4-point-something FIP, which was not very good. I definitely think Zach Wheeler is the king of that rotation. No longer Nola. The rotation maybe could use another fourth, fifth starter. The bullpen needs a lot of fixing, I'll tell you that. I think they got Treinen, so that I like that move. You got Harper, he's good, but defensively, besides Harper and Realmuto, this team is very bad. Alec Boehm, he was a disaster. He couldn't field the ball. Rhys Hoskins had some struggles defensively. Offensively, he gets into slumps. So Phillies they're going to need to make some moves. Harper and Realmuto can't carry the whole team. Like I said, I think if they get maybe a center fielder, maybe another bat in this lineup and some bullpen, I think they could be definitely a contending team, and I think they arguably are, but the bullpen needs to be fixed. In terms of the Braves, they lost some of their bench mob guys, you could say. Their rotation definitely needs maybe another starter or so. I think it's really Braves or Mets division, honestly. Call me crazy. As of right now, I think if the season were to start, if everyone's healthy, we'll say that if everyone's healthy, because it seems health determines everything with the NL East. If everyone's healthy, for every team, Mets, Braves, Phillies, Marlins, Nationals, I could see the Mets maybe getting a wild card spot if they actually try. MLB Chatterbox, what's going on? He says, for third base, should the Mets get Chapman or throw money at Chris Bryant? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really throw much chips for Chapman. Defensively, he's great. He is. I'll give him that. He's much better defensively. Gold glove type of style. Defensive run saved, UZR, OAA. Wow, awesome. This is a bat that worries me. He swings a lot. He chases a lot. When it comes to the whiffs in baseball savant numbers, let's take a look-see at savant with Chapman. I know he has a fascinating baseball savant. I was so confused with his swing, his chase rate, and then the whiff rate made completely no sense. In the first half, he really struggled. Low average, low on base, struck out a lot. Second half, he started it for some power, so maybe he was trying to be a power hitter. He was in the home run derby. Yeah, it was a 3% strikeout, third percentile in strikeout rate, but then 82nd percentile in chase rate. So the whiffs, the whiff percentage is really bad. He has some speed. He walks a fair amount. The XBA, yeah, 2.09. Yeah, it's not very good. I don't know. Yeah, you hope he could try and get out of it. I mean, he had a really solid 2020 season, 2019 season. The contact rate went, yeah. Hopefully, we'll see. But in terms, I would much rather Chris Bryant. Yeah, Chapman's younger, but I feel Bryant's more in his prime. Yeah, Bryant's not what he used to be. But I feel he's much more affordable. Chapman, you're going to have to trade. And that's going to include a blockbuster. It's likely they're going to want to go after, Minaya or Montas or another pitcher. I would much rather sign a free agent to preserve the farm so they can continue to build. Because they have 4 or 5 solid guys, but I want the Mets to have 10 solid guys, 12 solid guys, 14, 15, So Chris Bryant is the guy. He hits well against fastballs. He hits amazing against lefties and low velocity. 3 things that the Mets, besides Pete Alonso and Brandon Nimmo, were not able to do last season. He provides above average defense at third. He's a utility guy. You could throw him at third. You could throw him at left. You could throw him at right. You could throw him in center if someone needs a day off. I would much rather Bryant. John, what's going on? John says, you guys should do another Mets draft. What happened to you that day? You drafted Pete. Oh, yeah. I had some connection issues, unfortunately. Kobe says Bryant for the win. I agree. Hopefully, Bryant for the win. So we're probably going to call it a stream here. I really do appreciate you guys for tuning in to the stream. We did have some great discussions. We had some great comments, questions, and concerns. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in to these streams. Always and always means a lot. Please, everyone, if you can, smash that like button, turn on those post notifications. I did upload a couple videos this week. Please feel free to check them out. I will be uploading my Mets hitting coach one probably in 10, 20 minutes. So please check that out. Also, I really do appreciate you guys for tuning into the stream. We'll get into a couple more comments. Yeah, Trey, Marco, appreciate it, guys. EDM Playlist says, who do you want more, Starling Marte or Ketel Marte? Personally, I am probably wanting to go after, the Mets have Starling Marte. So, unless there's another Marte that begins with S. But yeah, the Mets have Starling Marte. If they didn't, then I guess him. I like Ketel Marte. He's okay. Personally, you're going to have to trade, and the D-backs don't really have a whole lot of interested guys there. They'd really just be giving us prospects, or we'd really just be giving them prospects or close to MLB-ready guys. Be kind of fortunate to get traded there. Eddie, what's going on? He says, go Yankees. Of course, man. Definitely respect all baseball fans as always. But yeah, I really do appreciate you guys tuning in to the stream. If you can, smash that like button, turn on those post notifications, subscribe, tell your friends about this channel. You know, we're trying to get to 1,000 subs. We are on the journey. And yeah, otherwise, I mean that's really it. If you guys have anything else, we are probably going to call it for today. Like I said, appreciate you guys. You guys have been dropping awesome comments, questions, and concerns these last couple days. It has been amazing. It hits my heart. And yeah, hopefully you guys can keep it up with all the great comments and stuff. So yeah, so we're probably going to call it a stream here. Like I said, I really do appreciate you guys for tuning in. Listen, I understand in terms of Major League Baseball and the live streams, I know I'm doing less live streams. I understand that. Like, I get there's not a whole lot to talk around Major League Baseball right now. Like, I understand that, you know, with the lockout. But I'm going to try to do these streams weekly, bi-weekly, maybe one or two a week, or maybe one every 2 weeks. We'll see how that goes. Just because, like I said, there really isn't going much around Major League Baseball, so it's just so hard to talk about stuff if you guys are understanding me. So yeah, so probably gonna call it a stream here. I really do appreciate you guys for tuning in, and yeah, till next time, baseball fans. See ya.